Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce and I am here with
Jase Marsiglio.
and you're listening to the 5195 podcast.
100. A centennial of sorts. How wild is that?
I mean, I remember us celebrating our 10th.
I know.
We were like, oh my God, like
10 double digits.
it was-
Yay. That is a feat.
100 episodes.
Standing on top of the world. You know?
I'm not going to stop you.
No, that's all I
Oh,
got.
okay. God damn it, dude. You know, obviously, when we started, never crossed my mind. This was never a part of that.
No, it was like when we were talking about 100, it was back when we were talking about like, I wonder how far we got to get to like monetize.
Yeah.
And now I think one of us threw out, it was probably closer to like 100.
Uh-huh.
And here we are, still unmonetized.
Yeah, I know. Fucking A, what the fuck's going on? Thanks a lot.
Maybe it's 200.
Maybe this is just going to be our last show.
Maybe it's 300.
Maybe we just got to start paying ourselves.
Maybe.
Fuck, now I'm already depressed.
It's sad. Because now we're old.
100 episodes and nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it.
I'm just fucking around.
A few pockets of people around the world who...
Hey, man, we're big in a home in Ukraine.
That blew my fucking mind, especially with like right now.
Yeah.
I'm like so much shit going on in the Ukraine, and someone in the Ukraine is like, these two fucking guys.
I got to dodge bombs to hear these two idiots.
These two idiots, they bring me the joy.
Now, if that's a Ukraine accent, I don't know. I hope it is.
We'll say it is. And if it's not, I'm sorry, whoever you are, our one listener.
Ukrainians.
Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, thank you, guy or girl.
Yes.
Hopefully a hot Ukrainian woman that needs a arranged marriage to come to the United States. We'll rescue.
We're here for you.
We are here for you.
But no, it's funny. It is funny to look at the reach.
Yeah.
I do get comments and stuff from people.
Uh-huh.
We get noticed at cons.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I do like that. And yeah, like I mentioned earlier, how, humble beginnings on workbenches in a garage to where we are now, which is a much, much cooler, much more dialed in and wicked rad studio.
Yeah.
And then a lot of adventures.
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots.
Good times.
It's we were talking about the 100th on the last trip.
Yeah.
And it didn't really sink in until a couple days ago for me, because obviously we didn't get to it last trip.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple days ago, after we had wrapped, and I went to my bedroom and you went to yours, it really started sinking in. It was like, holy shit! Like, we're gonna record our 100th episode.
Yeah.
And I really started looking back at what we had done.
Yeah.
I listen to the show all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are just probably getting sick of hearing me say it, but it is like watching playback of a game or whatever, trying to learn. Man, there was a lot of good moments on this show.
There's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of big laughs.
Yeah.
Some straight up wheezers.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's a lot of good stuff. What blows my mind is when you go back and listen to the first one.
Yeah.
And how different we sound.
I know.
You were playing some of that earlier.
Yeah.
That was insane.
It was insane.
Because we sound awkward. We sound unsure. I think it's a faux confidence.
Well, you picked up on the awkwardness, like, oh my God, we sound awkward. And I was like, I didn't get that.
You didn't get the awkward?
No. Prior.
Oh.
Even when I went back and listened to it, I didn't get the awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went back and listened to it after you had said that, I was like, oh no, he's fucking right.
It's a little bit.
Especially because you said, I don't even recognize my voice.
I didn't think it sounded like me at all.
Which I thought was funny.
Well, I think what's funny is like we've loosened up so much that people hear the regular us.
Yeah.
Whereas that first episode, I'm kind of like, I don't know. How am I supposed to sound? And I still had that nagging feeling of who the fuck are we? Why doesn't, so yeah, I don't think it sounds as relaxed and easygoing as it does now. I think we grow a lot in 100 episodes. I'm proud of the fact that we haven't really repeated ourselves. Yeah, we have running jokes, that's the other thing. We actually have running jokes that people recognize, and I get people talking to me about Gummo and stuff like that.
Do you really?
I do, yeah. Like people make fun of me about Gummo, and that's become a bit.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show that the listenership takes something from it and makes it canon, I guess. It makes it's a part of our lore.
And that's probably something you never thought would happen.
Christ, no.
When you pressed play on that beautiful piece of cinema.
No. It's like one day I'd be harassed about this movie constantly.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And I'm hoping next trip we get to do the commentary.
Yeah, I think we will.
It's really crazy to think, because what we started, it was July 15th, 2023.
Yes, because July 15th was when it dropped.
Yeah.
When we recorded was probably May, June? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was when we first actually started.
Yeah.
Because again, even like I said in a previous episode, I think it was on our year anniversary episode. That first time you came, you were only there for a few days. It wasn't a 2-week trip.
No?
No, because we were just, there was no like work set up.
No, you're right.
You literally flew out on a Friday and we dropped you off on a Sunday.
Wow.
And we did I think it was 15 or 20 episodes.
Yeah, we did.
In 3 days.
Yeah.
We were just marathoning.
Hyper focused. And
yeah,
we were trying to bang them out.
I remember before we hit record on the first episode, I was in the front yard pacing, repeating the intro. Does it sound right? This is going to be terrible. Why the fuck am I doing this?
I know.
There was all this crazy naysaying I had on myself, but I knew I really, really wanted to do this. I felt like we did have a story to tell that was worthwhile.
I think so.
Because we're not just nobodies, even though we're not household names yet.
No, we're somewhere in between.
We are somewhere in between.
It's a level up from a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who are aspiring.
Mm-hmm.
Usually people like that, they look to already well-established people, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
Whereas I think we're in a comfortable enough spot to be like, well, this is your next step, and we're talking to you from the next step. We're the seniors talking to the freshmen now, and we're still waiting to graduate.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's weird. I felt like I graduated, and then they said my diploma was wrong, so I had to go back to school.
Sort of.
That's how I feel about it sometimes.
I feel like you're the guy who failed 3 or 4 times so that you can keep beating up the underclassmen.
Yeah, because it's I did have a decent run in the industry with working on set and doing cool shit and meeting a lot of cool people. And I think that's kind of what's helping us along right now by being able to talk to some of the people that we do talk to.
For sure.
Or get to experience some of the things we experienced was, because of the first foray I took in this business and it failed miserably. But
you had said at one point yesterday or the day before that you were like, it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing to show for it. And I was like, whoa. Wait a minute though. I'm like, for one thing, it led to us meeting through a series of connections. And it led to you meeting the people who have been guests on our show, who we look up to.
Yeah.
How would we ever have scored these people as guests if you hadn't have worked with them and made a rapport? So, that goes to episodes with Harry Manfredini, Jimmy Duval.
This is James Duval, and congrats on your 100th episode.
And of course, Del Howison.
This is Dark Del Howison, and I just want everybody out there to know what an amazing accomplishment it is that the 100th episode of the 5195 network has finally arrived. 100 episodes, and nobody knows what the hell it means.
These are big deals. These people are big deals in our lives, and people we've looked up to, and it's super rad.
Right.
And we wouldn't have had level up guests like that had we not.
Yeah.
Had you not made a dent where you did, and had I not, struck out where I did and made connections at cons and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I
Because
was able to kind of bring in
yeah,
what few people I had.
right. Because everything you did led up to us crossing paths.
Mm-hmm.
And that's weird when I think about that, because it was a very fine line to walk, you know what I mean? For our paths to cross, if
Yes.
you really think about it,
Yes.
because there was a couple of things that happened that I almost didn't do
Mm-hmm.
to lead us to meeting,
Oh, sure.
and when I was, and what I'm talking about is Marv,
Yeah.
because when I wasn't really sold on him in the role of for this film that I was in production on.
I'd go a step further. If you weren't sold on him in the role, how did you feel about him bringing people in?
Well, see, that's what I mean.
You know what I'm saying?
And it wasn't until I went because I saw his reel and I was like, okay, he's an actor.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I went and met with him face to face.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I met with him at this place in LA called Jump Cut Cafe.
Okay.
Which is not there anymore, and I wish it was. But it was when I met with him, I was like, okay, this dude's like cool. Like I like this guy.
And you'd worked with him previously on Sparky, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you knew him enough.
Yeah. But that's when he was like, hey, we have this script.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And remember, I had never directed anyone else's material.
That's right.
You were the first one. So I was like, okay. And I think, didn't we meet on Facebook at first?
It was Facebook.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I haven't had one in years.
Yeah.
So yeah, even those conversations are in the ether now, unless you still have yours.
I still have mine.
Did it help to have a voucher from Felissa? Because it was kind of her and Marv that vouched for me, I think.
Yeah.
Because she had read a column I'd written.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of them. And I think she was the one who told Marv, you should get in touch with this guy and see if he wants to do.
Oh, really?
I think. Or he at least said, this guy's a good writer. I think that's what it was. He mentioned me, and then she knew me from the article.
So they had met you separately.
Sort of. And I hadn't met Felissa until the trip.
So when you came to do Maternal,
yeah,
that was the first time you'd ever met Felissa?
Yep.
Really?
But I had talked to her online like I would talk to you.
Okay. But no cons?
No, not at the time. Nope.
Wow, really?
Now she goes up to Michigan all the time,
Okay.
But I hadn't met her. And what I was doing was when I was writing for that Scream Sirens magazine, I would write an article like kind of like our Gallery of Icons sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I was focusing on women in the horror industry because it was a woman's magazine.
Uh-huh.
So the first two I did were Tiffany Shepis and Debbie Rashan. And not coming from a journalistic background, I don't know the rules. I don't know all this shit. I just wrote an article based on my thoughts on them and where they came from and da-da-da-da-da.
Uh-huh.
And then I did I'm sure it's probably a no-no in the journalistic community, but I sent them the articles first.
Oh, did you?
Before even sending it to my editor.
Oh, shit. Did they ever find out you did that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah?
And she was just like, cool,
Even the editor was okay with that?
Yeah, because we're talking about a very indie magazine.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
no one was treating it like the fucking New York Times.
Oh, okay.
But I sent it to them and I said, listen, I'm a huge fan. Are you okay with this? Or is there anything you'd like me to add?
Right.
Because I was also leaving it open for them to promote whatever they were doing, And both of them were incredibly receptive to it. They both really seemed to like it. And then by happenstance, they both happened to be the following spring, I think, guests at Motor City Nightmares. So I was like, well, I guess I go every year. And at the time, it had probably only been doing it for 3 or 4. I was like, I suppose I should just go meet them because they both seem to really like me and all this. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just throw a handshake their way and whatever. And both of them jumped up, threw a hug on me. Now I'm friends with both. And that's just how that happened. So I did the same thing for Felissa, except I didn't meet her until maternal. But I sent her the column. She loved it and was just like, "You're an incredibly talented writer. This is super flattering. I appreciate everything you've said." You know, she was just really nice about it, really,
Yeah.
really gracious. I don't remember how me and Marv started talking. I think it was through her.
Grinder.
Yeah. No, I think it was one of those deals where he saw our interaction on posts
Mm-hmm.
and then he followed me and then was like, "Hey man, you're a writer," you know, because I had it in my bio and stuff. And then it was like, I don't think I put together that they were friends,
Okay.
you know. And then he hit me up one day and was like, I was at like a barbecue or something with Felissa, and I mentioned that you're a writer, and she goes, "Oh yeah, he wrote this thing." And you know, it was just one of those deals where my name popped up on the other side of the country by two people. One of them I was a huge fan of.
The other was Felissa.
Yes. Honk.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you, Rich. But yeah, that was it. And it was just, it goes to show you it's the who you know and all the right time, right
Absolutely.
place. Because I believe at the time I'd given up screenwriting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was kind of done with it because it just wasn't bearing fruit. Didn't matter how many things I sent. This was on the heels of the Trenkas thing where I was like, I made it so far up the fucking ladder and then tumbled all the way down. So I was just kind of like, I'm just going to focus on writing for this magazine and maybe that'll bear fruit. And then when it did with Shepis and Rashawn, I was like, well, maybe that's the reward. I'm making friends with people. That's cool. You know, maybe it'll get me an autograph or something down the line. Who knows, you know,
Yeah.
but it was neat and it was cool. And I was perfectly happy just staying there. And then Marv was like, "I want you to write something." And Felissa wants you to do it too. It would be something for her. And I'm like, "Woo, are you
Yeah.
serious?" You know? So that was huge. That was huge. And that's when things kind of took off.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was the story behind it.
Yeah.
You didn't know that they knew each other.
Not really.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I probably posted on her page, "Hey, you know, this, that, and the other." I'd comment. And every now and again, I think Marv would like what I commented or something.
Yeah.
And then I got the friend request and was like, "Oh, he's an actor.
Yeah.
That's cool." And I didn't know him.
Yeah.
Then it occurred to me, I'm like, "Oh, we're, as Facebook would put it in Facebook parlance, we have a mutual friend in Felissa." And then, yeah, it just, I don't know what led me to write a column for her, but I did. I mean, I was a fan anyway, but Shepis and Rashawn, it was one of those deals where I was watching something with both of them and thought, I really like these two. I want to write something about them. So I must have revisited Sleepaway or watched, she's in a couple of documentaries that I really enjoyed and was just like, you know what? Felissa would be a good one to shine a light on. And, you know, I think at the time she hadn't really jumped whole hog back into acting as hard as she is not. Like now she's in everything, you know, but at the time I think she was just coming back. And I was like, yeah, maybe now's a good time to remind people that Felissa's out there. And,
Yeah.
you know, Sleepaway Camp was rad. And, you know, it's just one of those deals because I've done them. I have so many that are unpublished, but I did like Adrienne Barbeau. I did Barbara Crampton, Danielle Harris, Ashley Lawrence. I've got a file, you know
Wow.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, one of the bigger ones I did because it led to conversing with Dee Snider was his wife, Suzette.
Oh, okay.
I did one for her and my editor was kind of like, "Wow, Suzette Snider." You know, she goes, "Yeah, I love Twisted Sister, but why Suzette?" And I was like, "Well, I just read Dee's book and the entire iconic image of Twisted Sister, their costumes, the ribbons, the color coordination, all that shit, that's her. She made their costumes at home.
Wow.
She's the one who designed the TS symbol and bones and metal and all that. You know,
Yeah.
that's all her. I was like, she's kind of the unsung hero of what made Twisted Sister so memorable outside of the music, which I loved, of course, you know, and of course, Dee being the character that he is, he took all that and brought it way bigger, you know. But I was kind of like, Suzette Snider, fuck yeah, dude. I'm
Yeah.
like, she's kind of the hero of this group and no one ever talks about her. So I contacted Dee through Twitter and that's what led to that. And he basically told me, he goes, man, my wife fucking loved it, dude. You know, he was just like, way to go. So it was just nice, little stuff like that. And I took those rewards as payment. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are the people that I kind of looked up to and was able to kind of thank them, I suppose, for the entertainment they gave me over the years, or the inspiration.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, that's kind of crazy because especially if you're giving up on screenwriting,
yeah,
you know, to still be able to have that dog in the fight
a little bit,
you know.
And it was kind of like keeping a foot in the door of the entertainment industry.
And you know, like looking back on it now with you know, where we're at right now, it almost makes sense because it's like, well, maybe that was fate just telling you not just yet.
It's possible,
you know, because now it led to this, and now there's other screenwriting possibilities on the horizon.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've luckily enough, you know, it's not a lot, but I mean, there was you know, some paid work that I was able to get for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's more coming.
Yep.
You're writing amazing stuff right now.
Mm-hmm. I do got to put this out there. I can't talk about what the project was, even though I think it's dead. Shepis, she's given me paid gigs, and it was out of the blue.
Yeah.
She was one of those, and this is during our friendship. You know, this is like when after maternal and all that.
Yeah.
She was one that contacted me and said, Jase, I need someone to do this for me. Would you be interested? It pays X. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck. You know, and to me, that's huge.
Yeah.
Her husband, huge writer, and he's skyrocketing. You know,
Yeah.
this guy, Sean, he's fucking amazing. But for Tiffany to just pop me up out of the blue, shoot me a text, hey man, you mind doing this? You know, it's not much, but I'll pay you this or with that. And I'm like, fuck yeah, you know. So I did a friend a favor and she paid me for it. And it was like, how fucking cool. So, I mean, I got to give her props too, because again, we say this all the time about like Harry and all that. They don't have to think about us.
Of course.
They have their clique. They have their circle. And
Yeah.
when Tiffany or Harry or Richard think I should contact Brad or Jase, you can't ask for a more flattering seal of approval or a reiteration of your talent,
Right.
reiteration of your character. The fact that you left an impression. And I'd love to get Shepis on the show in the future, Rashawn, all these people that we've had encounters with, and you have too.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be fucking great. And to go down memory lane and just bullshit for an hour.
Not me. But no.
No, I don't think you should. Maybe you'll call in that day.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the new show when we break up and we're off doing our own thing and we don't talk anymore.
And now it's Regis and Kelly.
Exactly.
And then eventually, you know, Kelly and Seacrest or whatever the fuck it is now. You know.
No, that would be fucking awesome. Because I like I said, I never met Rashawn, but I met Shepis. So, I mean, I think that would be cool to have her on the show for sure. It's something that we could easily just, you know, reach out and see if she would, you know, want to do it. But yeah, it is surreal. Because, you know, even when you're telling the story, I'm like, holy shit, we're doing our 100th episode.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking crazy. You know, because I was, again, like, as you know, I like researching everything.
Yes.
Before I make a move on anything. I love to research. I love statistics. I want to know everything I can about everything, good and bad, before I do something. So I know, okay, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
And when I started researching podcasts, like 90% of the podcasts out there, they go away after, I think it's like between 15 and 30 shows. They're just done.
Wasn't there a name for that?
Pod fade. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like the good, you know, the decent ones, you know, they'll last to like 30.
Yeah.
The big percentage is like 12, 15.
And then the podcasters get bored
They
with
give
it.
up. They give up. Yeah.
Because it's not a lottery ticket.
Yeah. Because, you know, even though we're having fun, it's still work.
Oh, for sure.
You know, because it isn't just sit down, hit record and talk. I mean, we put a lot of time and effort into this shit, even from the beginning when we first started.
Yes.
You know, even though, yeah, we weren't in a studio, we were in a garage, but I'm like, hey, fucking, so was Mark Maron, so shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
But it's like, yeah, we kind of had archaic equipment, but it worked, you know?
Very much.
And as the episodes progressed, the quality got better. Timing got better. You know, I was able to like tighten everything up.
Yes.
Better microphones. And again, now being here at the new place, our setup is, I think it's great.
It's stellar.
And we're still like one more step away from where I want to be.
I know.
Which is hopefully within a year or so.
That'd be cool.
We're going to be there, like in an actual building, facility, studio, soundproofed, whole 9 yards. Heat, just everything you would need. And a different vibe than this.
Sure.
Because I do like this format, but I think I want to try a couple things. That's why I want to do a little bit bigger building, so we can still have this.
Yeah.
And then we can have like a nice loungy, laid back set as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy, man. I mean, I listen to the show a lot. I know I listen to it more than you.
Yeah. I need to go back. I've had enough distance between them that I need to go back and just start again, just for the laughs and everything. But I do kind of want to put together, what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of an omnibus of sorts,
okay.
You know, to just kind of get down everything that we did. And
well, at 100 episodes, I think you have a lot to work with there.
I think so too. And it's a landmark that I knew we'd get to eventually, but it did kind of, whoa, here it is.
Yeah.
Out of those 100, do you have any favorites?
No.
Is it just because they're all your babies?
No, it's just, this is not a good show. I'm just fucking with you. I do.
No.
I have a lot.
I shouldn't say favorite episode, but like favorite moments.
I have a lot of favorite moments from the show. Just like anytime we have a guest.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, those are just so much fun. And when we're lucky enough to have like someone like Johnny Romalia come back.
Johnny's a fan favorite.
Oh my God, Brad, Jase, what are you doing? This is 100 episodes now. Now, if I remember correctly, at the start of this, you guys promised me you were going to fuck this up. You guys lied to me. And I feel a little bit slighted. Besides the fact now that the wheels are moving, I see no fucking brake pads on these things. You keep coming out with these dope episodes, all this good shit that everybody needs to hear, wants to hear, loves to hear. If you guys aren't careful, this is going to get real big. Unless that's what you want. And in that case, well, congratulations. You're on the right road now. But just don't say I didn't warn you.
It's just so much fucking fun. The first Christmas episode.
Is that the one with all the suicide?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The outtakes at the end have now become part of the lore as well.
It is. It's canon.
Where when we mess up something, one of us will say
Bob Marley.
And it's fucking hilarious. You know, those moments, like when you said Bob Marley during that first Christmas episode.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that it wasn't the Bob Marley that fucking destroys me.
Okay.
It is how quick you pick up that you said Bob Marley.
Really?
Yeah.
Because this is my fucked up memory, but it's like, I thought I did that with Mike Brady.
You did.
I caught it just as quick. Was it a twofer?
Yeah.
So I never just kept talking.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I knew one of them, because I could still hear Mike Brady.
Yeah. It's fucking
But the Bob one, I didn't realize I caught it that quick.
Yeah. And here's a really funny thing. If you go back and you listen to the Christmas episode, and when you say all the way down to his like Bob Marley, and then you say something else, and then I start talking, I'm still laughing.
Really?
But and it makes you laugh. But luckily enough, we're able to play it up to like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because when you said Bob Marley, we laughed for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Because it was like...
It was ludicrous. It was just...
Well, because as soon as you said it, you said, you said Bob Marley, And then you were like, Bob Marley. And then we started fucking laughing. And I was like, well, cut it. And I said, I'll cut it. And he goes, if you want to. And then we start doing a Jamaican accent.
Oh, that's right.
But then you went back. We like reset.
Yeah.
And you said his Jacob Marley played by. And I blurred out Bob Marley.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember that or
No,
not.
I don't.
Yeah. You said, oh, his Jacob Marley that was played by. And I yelled Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
And then that's the one where you fucking lost it. Like, and let me tell you something, people. Like, if you've never met Jase, or the people that do know Jase, to get this motherfucker to laugh is goddamn impossible. And I mean really laugh.
Like a belly laugh.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's really fucking hard. And if you have done that, it's a skill. And if you haven't, you probably never will.
Because I feel like we're like fucking chuckleheads on this show. So
Yeah.
I feel like I laugh a lot, but that one felt earned, huh?
There's been a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Another one of my favorite moments on the show. And again, it's not even the stupid shit that I say. Because I'm always trying to make you do that.
Okay.
I'm always trying to get those laughs out of you.
Okay.
And it's like a fucking challenge for myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when I think it might have been like the music video one when you're talking about MTV.
Okay. And I was going to bring that one up because that's one of my favorite episodes.
It's one of my favorite episodes.
The music
too.
video one.
Yeah.
'Cause so many people connected with it.
Exactly.
And we had so much fun looking back.
Yeah. And there was a moment, I can't remember the setup. You said something like, if it was just about getting laid, everyone would have a show.
Mm-hmm. Oh, about like the teen moms.
Yeah. You said if everyone was getting laid, we'd all have a show. And I said, I wouldn't.
Mm.
And I said, I wouldn't so fast. Because like, as soon as you were saying it, I was thinking it. And you were like, and I said, I wouldn't. And you fucking laughed again. And I was like, awesome. That was a win.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a fucking win. No, those are my favorite. Anytime I can get you to fucking genuinely laugh.
I think it's funny because, you the way you said it, you like slid it under the door.
I did.
And that's why it's so funny because I wouldn't.
And your laugh. I was like.
And I'm such a sucker for like what I call off cameras.
Yeah.
And that one felt like it, even though I was sitting right across from you. It was just kind of like, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh, it was so good.
That one got me good.
Made me so happy. But
Yeah.
no, I do love that episode.
That one's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I'm also a big fan of the needle drop episode, the
God.
pet peeves.
I guess we're in Vietnam now.
Yes.
So fucking funny.
It's just because apparently Vietnam only had 2 songs.
and there's a point, like when you're explaining something, the passion and disgust on your face is like,
Yeah, because
it's worth its weight in gold.
I have no control over my expressions when I go off on a tangent.
Oh, and I'm sitting here like a little kid on Christmas
and
morning.
I mean, people have told me I'm
I love
very
it.
animated. It's all in it's in the eyebrows and so I've gotten a lot of that from people.
So fucking great.
But I can only imagine.
It's
and
amazing.
it's not the same episode, but I know it's the music video one where I'm bitching about the 2 guys who sang
The Proclaimers.
The Proclaimers.
I already knew where you were
It was
going.
just like the 2 fucking giant heads that are screaming at you about how far they'd walk. And I was just like, I just couldn't stand it. Got my dander up.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
And I love that you don't hide it.
Why? Because one of 2 things is going to happen.
Yeah.
People are either going to get what I'm saying and relate to it, or you're going to see something in it that you can tackle and turn into a bit.
Absolutely.
So to me, why hold back?
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Something's gonna come of it.
Yeah, for sure. Because there are times where it's like, during the beginning, like the first fucking 50, 60 episodes, I was really sort of on my version of best behavior.
Yeah.
Not really letting me out.
Not to the degree that we've allowed these last
Yeah.
whatever.
Because I definitely am that person that I have zero filter, and the people that are around me, they know it.
Yes.
I mean, it's even like, we were spending time with Richard last night.
Yeah.
And he was just like, this guy, I just fucking can't with this guy.
No, you can't.
And he looked at Tina and he was like, why do you deal with this? Like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
And I'm not much better.
No, you're not.
Because,
well, there was a moment we were laughing because we went to dinner with Richard last night.
mm-hmm.
We were sending him off. He went to Vegas for a convention, and so we decided to have dinner. And then afterwards, we went for coffee at Barnes & Noble, and we were just hanging out.
Yes.
And we were talking, and then this homeless gentleman walked in and started looking at and he was in the business section, like the magazines. And
yeah.
And I Richard was talking to Tina, and I whispered to Jase, he's looking for the Encampment Monthly. And then you started laughing, which I'm like, oh, here we go. And then it was just like, yeah, he's going to use it for toilet paper and to burn for heat. And, then you're like, oh, he's looking at the Success magazine. And like, we just had this whole bit.
We did.
That we were just.
Or it just organically happened.
Yeah. And of course, Richard's like looking at Tina, and he was like, how do you deal with both of them? How do you deal with this?
She has no answers.
No answer. No answer whatsoever.
The patience of a fucking saint.
Absolutely.
I mean, granted, a saint that rolls her eyes.
Oh, yeah. No, she definitely talks just as much shit.
Practically stuck in the back of her head, but God bless her.
Absolutely.
And then somehow we got to talking about, and I don't know how you didn't lose it as bad as I thought you would, because I was really trying to get you to fucking fall out of your chair. But when he was talking about having worked with John Matuszak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I was like, you remember he was in the Goonies? And he was like, yeah, he was the scary guy, and I go, yeah. And I was like, he ate one of those kids.
Oh, I put my head down. I mean, do you remember me putting my head down?
I wasn't looking because I knew if I looked at you, I wouldn't be able to continue the bit.
That's why I put my head down.
And I'm looking at Richard, and I thought for sure Richard would just laugh.
Yeah.
Instead, he was like, he did what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It's because it came from you. Had that came from me, he would have been like, this fucking guy.
I know. I'm so sorry, Richard. He doesn't realize I'm no better.
No.
And he painted quite a picture
Yeah.
about working with the guy, right down to John fucking lifting him on weights and shit.
Yeah.
Like Richard was talking about, he stood on the bench press weights and the guy was lifting the weights with Richard standing.
And Richard's not a small guy.
No. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, this guy sounds like a beast, And I remember him playing a psycho in MASH, and we got off on all those tangents. And then I just kind of was like, you do know that the kid in the Goonies, the heavyset kid that he hung out with, he's like, yeah. I was like, he ate him. And I just left it at that. And Richard stares at me and he goes, he did what? And I was like, he fucking ate him. And I think that's when he looked to you maybe for verification. And that's when he was like, oh, you guys. But it was like, when he didn't immediately grasp that I was joking with him.
Yeah.
That's when my internal alarm went off like, oh God, this is going to get even worse. Now I got to back it up because I thought it was funny just to leave it at that. But no, it was hilarious. And then, the guy's fucking arm wrestling me.
Oh my, yeah.
Fucking knuckle wrestling me. I didn't even know what the fuck that was.
No. Yeah, it's crazy.
The things that this podcast has afforded us.
Yeah.
This is Richard Inigus. Congrats on 100 episodes of the 5195 podcast to Jase. And who's the other guy? Oh, that guy. Oh, Brucello. Hey, man, you guys are the best. You made me feel at home. And I just want to say thank you for including me on this 100 episode. And is the check in the mail? Oh, I guess I asked the wrong thing.
Just funny instances like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it literally, it led us to meet Roger Black.
Yes. Of
Like,
all people.
On a recent visit to Burbank,
Mm-hmm.
we were at Blast from the Past on Magnolia Boulevard, which I'm sure many people from out here in California and people visited know
Such a rad place.
Blast from the Past. Yeah, they're big in the con circuit. They go to the cons and stuff, and they just have an amazing store.
Yeah.
And us three walked in there, and I was looking up. I was up at the front. They have new release stuff up in the front.
Yeah.
And me and Tina were looking. I look over and I see this guy on the phone. I didn't really look at him,
Right.
and I was watching him, and I saw him look at us and then look away really quick. And I was like, well, that was weird. It was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever. Didn't think anything about it. And then I made my selection, and I turned around and I saw him, and like we locked eyes, and then he again darted away.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
He was also streaming too, wasn't he?
No, he was on the phone with someone.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I told myself, I'm going to talk to him if he gets off the phone.
Okay.
And I heard him say, okay, I'll call you later when I'm on my way home. Or something like that.
Yeah, for some reason when I seen him, I saw the one earbud
Yeah.
and he was holding his phone,
Yeah.
and I just thought he was maybe live streaming from.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think he has any social media.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I figured out who it was, I looked again a couple times just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went over to Tina. I was like, hey, do you know who that is? And she's like, no. And I asked you, do you know who that is? And you guys were looking at him, and it was kind of like, no. Like, no clue. And then I just to get her reaction, but then just so you could see her reaction without hearing who it was, I whispered in her ear, that's Yucko the Clown.
Yep.
And her fucking jaw dropped.
Yeah.
Because we are very familiar with Yucko the Clown for decades.
Huge
like
fan.
we have been a fan of Yucko the Clown forever. I've been a fan of Yucko the Clown before Howard Stern.
See, Howard was about where I came in.
The only reason I was is because, like I said, I'm that guy that I'll seek out the fucking weirdest, obscurest, bizarre shit. And I found this DVD, I believe it was, of this thing called The Damn Show.
Yeah.
It was just these two guys and their friends in the South doing skits, but then doing like man on the street shit. And they would go to homeless people,
Yeah.
and they would just conduct interviews. And these people were fucking batshit crazy. And of course,
Yes.
me and my cousin would just we would eat this up.
Of course.
That was like right up our alley because we're so fascinated with
It's fringe shit.
crazy people. Yeah.
You know.
And so
These are people on the fringes, man.
that's when I first saw Yucko the Clown on that. And I was like, this guy is crazy. How can he be that fast? No one's that fast.
He's, oh boy.
I don't understand how this guy was that fast. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he's
I'm just
insane.
like, does he have a microphone and there's a bunch of people just like feeding him lines and stuff,
Right. Yeah.
But that just wasn't the case.
No, he's just a fucking comedic genius.
He is.
and a master roaster.
Yes.
I mean, the guy could tear you down.
But with such clever wording.
Surgical precision.
And that's what I was drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously became a fan of him. And before Howard went whatever the fuck he is now, I was still a fan of Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And when Yucko started going on there, I was like, perfect fit.
Yeah.
Perfect fit. Fine. Call him a whack packer, whatever you want to do. I don't give a fuck. Perfect fit. He's going to fucking destroy everybody.
Yeah.
And he did. Like his Gary Delabate prank calls he would do. Fucking genius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like him talking shit on Reverend Bob Levy and Artie Lang, and he was fucking with Beetlejuice, and he was doing all this shit, and I was like a huge fan. And then I did see the day he took the mask off, and I saw a whole different side of him.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then it was Monster Palooza a few years ago in Burbank. We're standing in line to go into the museum. And I look up, and he was alone.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, and I was like, that guy's familiar. And I'm looking, and like I get my phone out, and I type in Yucko the Clown. Roger Black popped up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit. And like I showed Kimmy, I was like, look. And she was like, first of all, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
She's like, that's crazy.
He looks familiar. Immediately thinks of Yucko the Clown. A guy under a fucking half a mask and half makeup.
And he was just like, this is the line for the museum, right? He was so quiet. And I was like, yeah. You know, and then again, like I said, and cut to when we met him,
Mm-hmm.
I never do this because it's like, I don't really get starstruck anymore. I'm like, yeah, people are people.
Yeah.
But there are those certain people where I'm like, man, I kind of hold up a little high.
Mm-hmm.
And he is definitely one of them that I do hold up high. And even Tina was shocked because I'm not that person.
No.
And he turns around and I was like, sorry, I never do this. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, man. And he just got this fucking really cool smile on his face.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God, thank you.
Yep.
And we chatted up. You know, we talked to him for 10 minutes, maybe.
Something
you
like
know?
that. Yeah. It wasn't long, but
No,
he gave us time.
he did. And then I was like, okay, you know, not going to bother you no more. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, dude, it's fine. Like, I'm shopping, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it's fucking really cool, you know? And
Couldn't have been more down to earth.
no, and he was wearing a fucking EC Comics hat.
He was wearing an EC hat, a Godzilla shirt.
Yeah.
He was buying a Pumpkinhead figure and some
And
comic
comics.
books.
I'm like, we're friends.
Yes. I was like, dude, not only is it like you're the complete antithesis of what Yucko is.
Yeah.
You know, you're soft spoken, you're sweet, you know, you're kind.
Yeah.
I was like, but you're into the same fucked up shit we are, and
Yeah.
you know, fuck, give him a sticker.
Exactly.
And we did.
Yeah, and we did.
And he was like, dude, I'll listen.
Yeah.
He's like, I love podcasts.
That was crazy.
So, I mean, yeah, Roger, if you're listening, man, we'd love to have you. And it was
Absolutely.
an honor meeting you.
It really, really was.
But it was just such a funny encounter. And it, again, it was something we did together and just part of the show.
It was. That's what led to that.
It is.
Because if it wasn't for the show, you wouldn't have been here. We wouldn't have been attending the event we attended that day.
Sure. Not
then
that you wouldn't have probably stopped in.
Right. But again, it's like,
It was
that's
part of,
just those moments. Because I'll be honest with you. Remember what I told you? I was thinking of not going.
yes. Yes.
So had you not been there, yeah, I would probably wouldn't have.
No, which means you would not have gone to Blast from the Past
Exactly.
because you wouldn't have gone out that way.
No, I wouldn't have.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, no, it is. Like we've had a lot of really fun, cool experiences because of the show.
Yes.
You know, I think the most strenuous time for me
Mm-hmm.
was the interview day.
Same. That was what a marathon. Because I was dreading it. And not because, oh God, I don't want to interview anybody. Nothing like that. It was just, this was a coup for us to get one of these guys, much less three,
Yeah.
in one of their places of business.
Yeah.
And boom, boom, boom. You know, we had to make an afternoon of this. We had to be quick about it. We had to be smart about it.
Yeah.
And that day was stressful as fuck. I
Yep.
mean, I had a pit in my stomach the whole day until we sat down and then until we started talking.
Yeah.
Because then the chemistry starts flowing
Yeah.
and it turns into the hangout. Because it's not really an interview. We don't really interview.
No, we don't. We talk to
We
our
just-
friends.
We just want to bullshit with you and see,
Yeah.
you know, show people that you're fucking awesome and maybe throw some inspiration someone's way.
Right.
And yeah, everyone I talk to loves those episodes.
Yeah.
They got such a fucking kick out of Del and Sue.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's hilarious. It really is.
I'm telling you, like, I probably wouldn't have done it if Dell wasn't down to be on the show. I'll be honest with you.
You think it would have bowled over all three for you?
Yeah, I would have been like, okay, we'll get Harry on another day then, and the same with Jimmy.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was really banking on Dell.
Yeah.
So I cleared everything with Dell first. You know?
Sure.
Like, well, Tina did. You know, we were kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Especially venue during business hours.
yeah.
Because I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
this place could be a zoo.
Yeah, and there were lots of people, you know,
There were.
like bustling around in there, and there was people taking pictures of
know.
the situation that was going on.
We were in a fishbowl.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is like I didn't see any of that.
No, me
You know,
neither.
when we were in there, like there was like I said, there was a couple of moments, especially with Jimmy, You know, there was a girl in there. I think there was a couple of girls in there, and they obviously recognized who he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they were over by the books, and I saw her taking pictures.
Yeah.
You know, which I'm like, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
like that's fine. But
It's to be expected.
absolutely,
She's like,
yeah.
could you two fat guys get out of the way so that we could get the guy from Donnie Darko, please?
Well, I think, and even after the fact too, I was like, oh, you want another picture with Jimmy? And she's like, oh, no. That white guy's butt crack was hanging out. And I took a picture of it.
Yes. And
Like, oh, got you. Okay, cool.
I've caught some infamy for that, I would imagine.
No, you know, it's funny. One time me and Tina went to coffee with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we were talking about Desolate or what. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But we were at this little coffee shop across the street, like catty corner from the old Amoeba on Sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just hanging out, doing our thing. And then I look over and I see this girl and her boyfriend, and he's like doing the sneak.
Yeah.
You know, well, she was, you know, taking pictures. And I'm like, the fuck are you doing? I didn't say that, but I was like watching them.
You like reached over, grabbed the camera, and threw it on the ground. Like, no fucking press.
But then it hit me. I was like, oh, they recognize Jimmy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Okay. My bad. You know? But again, it's like even that, you know, like having him on the show, that was a really fun moment.
It was.
You know, that was a really,
what
really
a
fun
super
moment.
cool guy. That was my first time meeting Jimmy
Oh, really?
ever. And he was super cool.
Oh,
Loved
really?
chatting him up.
Yeah.
What a fucking ball of energy that guy is.
Oh, my
He's
God.
super cool.
And I told you, I was like, hey, man, you know he's comfortable and everything is going to be cool when he starts singing and going like,
Oh, yeah.
I told you that before the show. I was, because, you know, when he first got there, he was, you know,
What's up, fellas?
Yeah.
How you doing?
but then, you know,
You got Jimmy.
Jimmy came out, you
Jimmy
know, and
came
I was like, this is the guy that I love. Because it's like, you said it right, ball of energy.
Yep.
James Duval is a ball of energy.
He is. And he's infectious.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Harry.
Yeah.
I've met Harry several times prior to that and was still kind of nervous to interview him just because I'm like, what are we talking? And again, I use the word interview, but we didn't really interview.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about that he hasn't talked about ad nauseum, not just at cons or to fans, but like on DVD bonus features and commentaries. I'm like, this guy, you know, we got to tap into something that people haven't talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we did.
We absolutely did.
And he seemed 10 times more relaxed
Yeah.
and appreciative because we were poking into childhood and the things he's passionate about.
Yeah.
And it's not just, hey man, you did the Friday theme. Which one's your favorite?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, just, he had a fucking blast. And I love that we gave him that and that he gave us that time. It was so fucking cool.
No, it was. It absolutely was. And it was funny because, you know, Harry is a busy guy.
Very.
He's always on some project. He's always got something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And even that day, you know, he was kind of the tough one to lock down.
Yes.
Because Jimmy's like, yeah, I can do it, but, you know, I got to leave because I believe he was flying out.
He was.
You know, so I was like, yeah, for sure. And, you know, Tina, man, just some excellent. And she's so good at what she does.
Yes.
You know, she's so good. Like watching her, I'm always in awe.
Yes.
Watching her work on set or, you know, producing or whatever she does because it's just so effortless.
She kills it.
And I told her, I was like, okay, I locked all three guys because it was like it was like, Del, you know, can we do, you know, when can we do this? Because I want you to be on the show. Will you be on the show?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah. And I was like, when? What day? And he gave us the days. And I was like, okay, well, can we shoot for this one? Yeah. And so I text Jimmy and Harry.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was like, yeah, I can do it. This is my slot.
Yeah.
And then I got to bounce, you know? And I was like, all right, cool. But he's like, I'm a little lenient. That's why I'm trying to give myself some time.
Yeah.
Harry was like, yeah, this time to this time, an hour.
Yeah.
And I got to go. And I'm like, okay, yeah, for sure. No problem. And then we got there and I'm like watching the clock, you know, and we start winding it down. I'm like, okay, last question. And he's like, last question.
I know.
He's like, we just got started. Like, he wanted to go longer.
And it was like an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had him for that hour.
Yeah.
It was really
Well, he had
cool.
already said afterwards, too. Like, one of the last times I saw him, he was like, when are we going to do it again?
Yeah.
You know, so.
And we should.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking what I'd like to do next time is just have him out here
Yeah, of course.
to the house.
Yes.
You know.
Just something more comfortable. And,
Yeah.
You know.
One of my favorite interviews is Dell.
Yeah.
Because if you actually go back and listen to it, I'm spending most of the interview laughing.
Same. He's fucking hilarious.
He is absolutely
Just being able to bounce
hilarious.
the dry humor.
Yeah.
You know, it was so much fun, and he's become a fan favorite out by me. You know,
A fan favorite?
Bob Marley, a fan favorite. He's become a fan favorite out by me.
I couldn't let it go.
No,
I'm sorry.
and I tried to bulldoze
I
through
know
it, and
you
I'm
did.
like, "There's no."
Oh, here, and then you saw me.
Yep.
Iron sights.
Yep. No, that one's it's a hit.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm sure that when we get him on again, it's going to be great.
It is. Absolutely is.
Um.
You know, there's other people too that we interviewed that, man, it was so much fun.
Oh, we have such a blast with Marty Riccio.
Hey, what's up? This is Martin Riccio. Holy shit, 100 episodes. Congratulations, Brad and Jase. Much love, much respect.
Mike Kruger. Every time they're here, we get gold.
Hey, Brad and Jase. It's Mike Kruger from Video Shock, but you know that. Just wanted to call and congratulate you on 100 episodes, which is like 700 episodes in dog years. So, happy 700th. Love you.
Yeah.
It's
Every
just such
time
a funny dynamic.
Mike is on the show, it's like, I can't wait for Marty to come back.
Yeah.
No, you know, that's the thing is like we did, you know, I don't think it's going to air by the time this is out.
Prior to this.
But Mike recently visited us and gave us a show.
Yes,
That was such a fun time.
it was.
That show was so fun to
and informative.
so informative, you know, because again, it's like I said it before, I'll say it again. 15 movies
Yes.
that we talk about, and not one of them were the same.
Nope.
And we were all in awe of each other's list.
Yes.
Because I do want both of your guys' list.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Because I want to see these because they sounded fucking cool. The ones that I hadn't seen.
Yeah. Of
You
course.
know, and of course mine were very run of the mill, but it was like, man, that was a good fucking time.
It was
you know?
fun.
And again, me and Mike are developing something.
Yes.
You know, like we want to do a show, even if it's just like once a month,
Yeah.
you know, just to have some. Because I think he's only allowed to come out of the crypt once a month.
Something like
Some with the sunlight. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever he's up to.
I thought it was like every 23rd spring for 23 days.
Is that what it is?
He gets to eat.
Okay.
Something like that.
And it's Cheesecake Factory. That's where he goes.
Yeah. Get in on these balls. If I personally, when I think back on the show, and obviously there's big laughs everywhere. We crack each other up constantly. But one of my favorites is episode 17, where you talk about Irwin Keys.
Yeah.
That really left an impression on me because it was a cool story for you to regale, even though I know it was probably hard, but I loved it. And I loved hearing about him. I never got to meet him. I never had the pleasure,
Yeah.
but knowing what he meant to you and your family and getting that story was so fucking cool. And I revisit that one a lot.
Wow, really?
I really do, because he seemed like such a fucking cool guy.
Yeah, he was.
And again, going back to like writing for the magazine and taking positive responses to my work as payment, that's almost like what I was looking for in a weird, naive way, was like a friendship like that with someone I admire. You know what I mean? And that was cool. And it segued into a story I had told and hadn't told anybody about Dana DeLorenzo, and how I had reached out to her, same reason. I was going to write a column about her that never got published. And I was waiting to hear back. I had completely forgotten at the time. And she had gotten back to me on arguably one of the worst days of my life. And you know, and just the encounters with her that led to. She has always been a huge cheerleader for me ever since. She calls me her paisan. She calls me her powerful vagina, which fans of Ash vs. Evil Dead will know that is a huge term of endearment from Kelly, her character. But yeah, she jokes with me a lot that, because I always, you know, again, who the fuck are we kind of thing. I'm always like, hey, it's Jase Marsiglia. When I reach out, I'm like, I don't know if you remember me. And she's like, I know one Jase, and it's you, buddy. She was one of the first people in this industry that I told what we were doing, because we hadn't done it yet. And I was like, yeah, we're going to start this thing.
Yeah.
And she was so happy to hear about it. And literally, even though she hasn't been on yet, she was the first one to be like, abso-fucking-lutely, I will be on the show. 100%. You just let me know. And she put me in touch with one of her handlers or whatever.
Yeah.
She's been super cool and super sweet. And I know Tina met her. I don't know if did you get to meet her?
No, I didn't. I was actually busy when that happened.
Tina, she traded info with her, and yeah, we hope to get her on the show.
Oh, we will. She'll be on the show.
Yeah.
For sure.
Congrats is in order. I can't believe you guys are at 100 eps. I definitely want to say happy 100th to Brad and Jase. That's incredible. I remember when you were just getting started with this, Jase. Oh man, look how far you've come, my friends. Bravo. Motherfuck, there's my powerful vagina.
And that was Dana giving us a congrats.
Which is absolutely crazy.
Super crazy. And again, I told her about this show 2023, and she remembers us talking about it.
Well, she has
stands
been
out.
She has been updated. You know what I mean? Because like you told her, we started doing it. Then she met your producer.
Yes.
Which will legitimize you.
I know.
You know? And then it's like, what you guys just heard is just like, wow, what a fucking cool person.
Right. Exactly.
You know? And that's when you know, okay, we're doing good shit.
Yeah.
Because another very special moment for me was at the end of part 2 of Richard's interview.
Yes.
When he was like, continue this work. It's important. It means something.
I know. Boy, that hit me.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And then he was also, maybe not to you two, but to everyone else, you know? Because I'm just like, what?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. And like Richard, he's been so gracious for us. And he has so much fun just bullshitting with us. And he's such a legend.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I mean, it's crazy because it's like, as much as I love everyone else in our circle.
Yes.
And all the people that we know. As of right now, there is no one else that has a higher catalog of work than him.
Oh, it's cavernous.
Yeah.
The guy's seen and done it all.
I mean, he's worked with everyone.
Everybody.
You know, every time I, there is a running joke now where it's like everything, no matter what he says or what he does or whatever in the circle, I'm like, oh, and I worked with him. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Or you worked with him.
Yep.
You know, we were coming out of dinner last night and he looked over, oh, there's a Benihana. I was like, oh, did you work with him?
I know.
I was like, this guy's fucking worked with everybody.
Well, what was it? There was the one day we were at the bookstore and he says he worked with so-and-so. It might have been when he said he worked with Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah.
And you were like,
Bob Marley.
I got that right, didn't I?
Montalban?
Montalban.
You said Blan.
Bob Marley.
Ricardo Montalban.
Mike Brady.
Aileen Wuornos.
Fuck, Aileen Wuornos.
Richard, what do you think about that?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, boy. I even made him stutter. But no, he says this name and you're like, oh, you dropped something. I think it was a name.
Oh, yeah. And he looked at the ground.
He did. Bless his heart. He goes, what, I did? And you're like, yeah, it was a name. You're just dropping names all over the place, Richard.
Yep.
Fucking hilarious.
And it's funny because he's not doing it to brag.
Not at all.
And that's what's so funny about it.
It is. It's just to him. He's just it was another coworker.
Well, because he was telling me one time about a story. He was telling me the story one time of his friends that they would always hang out. And this guy was a big fan of Boulevard Nights.
Yeah.
And they would go to the screenings whenever Boulevard Nights was playing. I guess this guy loved this movie. And of course, it was like, it'd been a minute since he had seen the guy. So he was like, his name is, and I'm coming back to the table as he's telling the story to Tina.
Yeah.
It was, on one of our 100 fucking outings we go for breakfast or lunch. It's like, it's kind of like a thing now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one time, like this time we went to Redlands and we just met up in Redlands and we had breakfast. And I come back to the table and he's just like, he was in this movie. He was playing this character and he had this hump on his back. And I'm like, are you talking about Marty Feldman? He goes, yes, it was Marty. And I was like, what's going on? And Tina's looking at me and she's like, well, that was his friend. And I was like, fucking, of course it was.
Yeah, Marty one of the funniest fucking people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, Young Frankenstein, top 5 favorite movies of all time for me. I got like original poster hanging above my bed.
Yep.
I'm like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like, you knew Marty Feldman? Oh yeah, no, we, me and my wife would go to like his wife's plays and vice versa, and we'd go hang out and go to dinner. And I was like, my God. And it happens all the fucking time.
Oh, he keeps bringing up the Deadly Tower, which was with Kurt Russell.
Ned Beatty was in that as well.
God, because I did make the joke last night. You and I, or you made it might have been you that made the joke. We're 1 degree of separation from everybody because of you, Richard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he just laughs,
Well, because it's fucking true.
It is.
Yeah, I'm just like...
The motherfucker was in Night Gallery.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Yeah, it's absolutely fucking crazy.
So fucking cool. I love the guy.
It's funny, too, because watching a trailer, and I was like, oh, I know him. Like, watching the trailer, I was like, I remember seeing this movie, and I was telling him that Together Brother.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was like, you didn't... He's like, oh, I forgot. Yeah, I was in that.
Can you imagine?
I was like, it's a 20th Century Fox movie.
Yeah.
Theatrical release. Barry White did the fucking... the soundtrack.
Yep.
I'm like, are you kidding me, dude?
And you forgot you were
you were in it. I was like, oh my God. And there's been times I've even said, oh, you're in this. And he's like, no, I wasn't.
Oh, I know.
But it happens to him all the time.
Yep.
Like, I wish he would tell the story of, I think I've told it on the show before, where he went to an audition and he got the side for the audition. And on the top, it read, looking for Richard Iniga's type.
Yes.
And he was like, does this mean I get the job?
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's fucking crazy. Like, he's got so many stories. I keep begging him. Like, I'm begging him. I'm like, please, dude, we got to get these stories down.
Yes.
It's like, you have a history. Like, there's a book in there.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, there's stories he's told me that, like, I won't repeat, from the industry, that I'm just like, not surprised, because, I mean, I've dealt with shit too, but it's like, wow.
Sure.
That's very, very fucking crazy. And plus, the guy's been all over the fucking world.
The world,
Like,
yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. Like, he is one of my favorite people on earth.
Yes.
And yes, I poke fun, but it's like, I am extremely honored to be able to call him my friend.
Absolutely. He was sweet enough. He bought me stuff.
Oh yeah. He was bringing you presents.
He was bringing me shit, and
yeah. But that's just who he is.
He was just such a nice guy. And I'm so honored that he took to me.
Yeah.
As much. And
yeah, definitely.
It's gotten to the point now where I'm getting, happy holiday texts from him.
Yeah.
It's just, he's a cool guy.
He is.
He's a super cool guy.
Is. We're super lucky, man. We're super lucky.
We definitely, to have him part of our stable is just so amazing because he's old Hollywood, man.
He actually is, dude.
He is.
He actually is. He's one of the last greats that are.
The guy's a trove of information.
He really is. And yeah, he's been in so many different things. I mean, he has something working right now with Warner Brothers that I'm really excited about. I'll let him tell.
Absolutely.
That I think it's going to benefit a lot of, people. That's going to be really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky enough to write something for him that potentially could be pitched to Warner Brothers by him.
Yes.
Which I think would be fantastic.
I really hope it happens.
Yeah. I still got to send you that script.
Yeah, I'd love it.
I want you to watch Boulevard Nights.
Yep.
And then read that script.
I need to just pick it up.
You do.
Sadly, I probably have to order it.
Yeah, because they just released the Blu-ray.
I know, but I'm not seeing it on the street.
And it was at Amoeba.
Was it? Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you'd have told me, I would have grabbed it. I'm sorry.
No, for sure.
I definitely need to just pick
that.
it up.
Yeah, that's one that needs to be owned because that movie is very, very important, not only to me but to an entire generation of just cinephiles and the Latino culture.
Yeah.
Because it really tells a story about family.
Yes.
What I like to say about Boulevard Nights is that it's the one that started all of the inner city movies.
Sure.
And I think at the time the biggest competitor was the Warriors.
I could see that.
And because
But that's such a hyperbolized
the
movie.
Warriors was East Coast and it was
Yeah.
released around the same time as Boulevard Nights.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you heard this or not, but Boulevard Nights was actually ripped out of the theater because of shooting.
Wow.
So there was kind of a,
Stigma.
there was a little bit. But it's definitely found its way into the cult category
Sure.
now, and I mean I've been a fan of the movie forever. I have the VHS, I have the original vinyl that my brothers got, I was just always in awe of the movie. I dug it, I just loved it. And then now to be able to be his friend,
It's amazing.
yeah, it's pretty crazy,
Yeah.
and we got to work together and we're going to work together more. We're developing all kinds of cool shit and doing all kinds of cool things. And he's been a guest on the show, a few times now, and he wants to come back. And,
Yep.
we're hoping to develop a show for him and some of his friends because he's got some really crazy friends, man. We've had some really fun times at the house. He's brought these people over and I'm just like, you're also in everything. Like,
Yeah.
this is fucking crazy.
Yep.
I'm not going to name the names. I want him to name because he's, he likes name dropping. So
He does.
I'll let him name drop. But
I will just sweep up behind him.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, dude, I'm so fortunate. Like every time we get together,
Yeah.
I always say I'm extremely fortunate that I get to do this with you.
Yes. It's likewise.
And I could not imagine doing this with anyone else.
No.
You know.
No. I mean, if we weren't doing it, I wouldn't be doing it at all.
Yeah,
Because I
definitely.
just, podcasting wasn't on my bingo card.
And that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and again,
Well, a buddy of mine and I tried it. I've tried a couple, but never really popped off the ground. But when you and I did it, something just clicked. And I was like, okay, this might be good.
yeah.
And 100 episodes later, holy fucking shit.
Yep.
I can't believe it.
And it's funny, the statistic for monetizing is
Mhm.
after 100.
All right. Well,
That's the statistic.
okay.
And it's out there, you can see it. Yeah, it's weird because, I'll go back and look for a show
hmm
and I'm just like, God damn.
I know you got to really scroll now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a legacy.
It's
now.
pretty fucking impressive.
It's
you
a
know?
legacy.
We have some really cool guests lined up.
Yes.
I'm really excited about. I can't wait to get those down.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to do another 100 with you.
Yep.
Hopefully by then we'll be monetized.
It'd be great to just make a fucking career out of this shit. And
I think we're on our way, man. I really do.
I do, too.
Because no one can say anything about our performance, our consistency, our loyalty. The fact that we have original new material every fucking show.
Yep.
And we're doing this for you and I.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
In the hopes that people just like-minded people.
and that's how I write my scripts as well.
Same.
I write them for me. I will use Tarantino's saying, I make my movies for me, everyone else is just invited.
Yep.
And that's how I am with the show. I make the show for me and you, and everyone else is just invited to listen.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's super fucking cool because we learn
Yeah.
through this show
Yeah.
that it permeates, people relate,
Mhm.
people laugh, and that's been its own reward,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So remember our first guest?
Our first guest,
Yeah.
our very first guest,
Very first guest.
The Fly.
Wow. You hear what he called you, Tina?
Oh, was she after The Fly?
Yeah.
There was one episode I literally put special guest
Yeah.
The Fly.
Yeah. No, it was Tina was the first
She was our first human guest
human guest was Tina. Yeah.
because we have had the cat as well,
Yes. Yes. Dracula.
Dracula.
Yeah. Which he says hello. Butthole still looks the same.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tina was our first official guest.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, we couldn't have done 100 episodes without her.
No way. Not at all.
You know,
No.
this has always been a team effort.
Yeah.
Very small team of 3, and
But I love it like that, dude. I really do.
so do I. But it makes the 100 even more impressive, if you ask me. I think that's
No, it definitely does. It definitely, yeah.
because it's just we got our own little mom and pop thing going on here.
We do.
It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. No, we definitely do. I'm excited for what's to come.
Yes.
You know, because it is a big level up that's on the horizon.
Yep.
And I am excited for that. So, yes, my friend, thank you very much for taking this bizarre, weird journey with me.
Yes, thank you as well. I've had nothing but fun.
Good. I'm glad.
So,
well, here's to another 100. Congratulations.
to you as well, my man.
Until next time.
Next 100. See you guys.